Hello everyone and welcome to another Sonic fan game, and this time I have the bumper engine in this giant open world. If you want to try it out, there's a link in the description down below. However, this video is going to be, if anyone remembers on my channel when I talked about Sonic Utopia and the Green Hill, or not Green Hill, but Sonic Adventure 3 fan games, they kind of noticed that I really went on a huge rant. This one, it's not going to be much of a rant. It's more of something I've noticed with fan games that use the bumper engine, or something like Sonic Utopia on its own. And this is not a knock on the developers. It's just one thing I've noticed, and I kind of wanted to bring that to light and kind of get a discussion going around it. So when I first played the games, Utopia, I thought what I thought of it. You know, we don't have to go back into that. I thought the bumper engine was a lot of fun. It was really cool to go around in, and you know, I was pretty excited for this. But then I stopped for a moment and just kind of thought about the engine as a whole. Thought about 3D Sonic as a whole, and really feel that this should be brought up. Now, I have nothing against, like I said, nothing against developers of the engine or developers who want to make levels using the bumper engine. It's just something that I need to talk about. I think it would be incredibly difficult to turn this in, to use this engine in a proper 3D fan game for a few reasons, and we're going to go through that right now. One of them being, well, I mean, you'd have to create some massive levels, because look at that. Look at how much distance he can cover in just a couple of seconds at his top speed. Aside from having to create massive levels, which, I mean, those would be cool at first, but then after a while, I'm pretty sure any developer would look at it and be like, oh, I gotta create another giant level for this again. Because look at that. You can cover so much of that. And this kind of actually really easily transitions into my second, the second thing I wanted to talk about, and that is the idea that, it's one of the, I feel like it's a misconception of like Sonic games as a whole. I mean, even though it is one of the aspects of Sonic, but when I hear some people, they talk about Sonic, they talk about speed, they talk about Sonic's speed all the time. Well, yes, that is one of his defining traits. The other thing about the games that involve Sonic, or at least the main series games, is the fact that they're all platforming games as well. Some of them have like a greater emphasis on it than others. I mean, the classic games had a huge emphasis on platforming. The adventure games had a very, I would say, a somewhat either acceptable or really like a much more balanced ratio of platforming to speed, and I guess I kind of want to say cinematic, but that's not the right word I'm looking for. Probably spectacle. That's what it was, spectacle. So with something like this, where you're just covering so much, there's so much ground that you're covering. The question is, how would these levels be designed? Because not only do you have to create platforms that, one, cannot be easily exploited by just, say, going downhill, bouncing, and then, hey, there you go. Might have just jumped over like 3 or 4 different obstacles that would have been really cool, like if they weren't so easily exploitable. I mean, look at that. Look. Oh, sorry, that's inverted. But yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to mention, is the fact that level design would have to be a bigger challenge, because in case you haven't noticed, there is platforming in Sonic. Even the boost games, even Forces, even though you can like boost over a lot of it, or like a good portion of it, or a significant amount of it. So yeah, like trying to create some kind of challenge with platforming, and on top of that, trying to create some kind of challenge with enemy placement, because while, I mean, you could probably nail down somewhat decent levels with this, but you can also kind of bore the player a little if there's really no real hazard or anything. I kind of mentioned that in the Sonic Utopia videos, so there's still some validity to that point that I made in that video. But if you want a more clear explanation of what I mean, is that in platforming games as a whole, you need some kind of hazard, unless you're like Journey or something. You need some kind of hazard, some kind of obstacle to overcome, and not just platforming obstacles such as like spikes or bottomless pits or anything, or trying to go for a specific jump so you can hit some kind of shortcut. I mean, those developers will have to figure that one out. But the other thing is the fact that, well, you need enemies that would also complement the level design, Sonic's mechanics, but also not be so passive to the point where you could just run past them all the time. Most of the time, I can see that. I mean, while, yes, it is easier to create some kind of obstacles in 2D games than 3D games, because 3D games, you can just walk around it. Even like, having something so open like this, or so easily exploitable, like, where movement can easily exploit so many level design flaws in a level, you kind of wonder whether or not something like this would work for Sonic. And the thing is that I don't think it will, because while yes, games like Adventure and Heroes and stuff like that, you can go around enemies, you don't have to hit every single one of them, but they're not so far spread apart to where, like, it's probably seconds or minutes or something like that, probably minutes before you see another one. Like, if you see an enemy a little bit further down, you're going to see another enemy, or you're going to see a group of enemies. I'm kind of hoping that future developers would take a look at this and be like, okay, either one, this might not be the perfect engine for a 3D game, or two, something with the scaling of either the levels or of Sonic's like something that Sonic's physics or gameplay is doing, that it's just not right. I just feel like in this massive land, Sonic seems very small by comparison, and he is small, especially in this. And to create a level that would complement either Sonic's size or his abilities, but still keep it contained to where you're not just giving the player every single possible way to just avoid all of it, avoid any of the platforming challenges or any of that stuff easily. It would turn everyone into speedrunners day one, am I right? That's pretty much what I'm getting into, is the fact that even the adventure games, for as many things as you can exploit it in those, they still had a sense of, like, hey, these enemies are here, and they're not just, you know, not all of them are there to just run past, and you'll never have to make you never have to, like, make any contact with them or kind of, like, encounter them in any way. I just feel like that with a game such as, or any game that uses the bumper engine, is going to come across its first obstacles, such as, you know, like enemy placement and level design are like this. That's the whole discussion of this video. It's like, what's the point of playing through a level if the engine itself is just so level shattering? I guess it's so easy to break levels if you could just bounce over and just go over so many obstacles. See, that could cover like maybe a few things. If you're given like the right speed and everything, and people will find the right speed in it and what they need so they can go as fast as they can. I haven't actually done anything bumper engine-esque except for just running and using the bounce bracelet or bounce ability. Oh, should I do a spin dash or something? Okay, maybe that's like another nitpick I have with the bumper engine, is that you have to be kind of like on flat ground or something. Oh, there we go. Anyways, so that's kind of my whole discussion. It's like, how will people who use the bumper engine or engines that have like these kind of physics where you can just use your momentum to just cross so much, what's the happy medium between the speed, the momentum, and level design and enemy placement? What is it? I honestly feel like the momentum is there to, while it is very cool, it will just create a very forgettable experience after some time, because then somebody will look at it and it's like, yeah, it was great moving fast, but do you remember any of the levels from it? And it's like, probably not. That's kind of what I'm getting into. So, yeah. Again, not to knock this engine or anything, it is pretty cool, but you know, it does have its issues, and it does have stuff that I have yet to see addressed in somebody's in somebody's levels. So that's pretty much what I wanted to get across in this video. And if you want a good example of how a level can be broken by this game engine, I actually did a video on, I don't remember what the name of the level is off the top of my head. I think it was like Project Survival or something. It probably isn't, but it'll be in the upper right hand of your screen. So if you want to have an idea of like how something like the bumper engine that lets you move this fast after a short period of time, if you want to see exactly how it could make some level design kind of pointless because you're going over so many things, then feel free to give that video a look, or at the very least, I'll try to provide a timestamp for it so that way you have an idea of what I'm talking about. Or if anything, I could probably put footage on screen. It's not like anything important's being put here. Anyways, that's gonna do it for my little rambling. I probably have this edited down so that way, you know, I didn't come off as stammering all the time or, you know, kind of lost in multiple different points that I wanted to bring up. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to bring up for the bumper engine and this open world playground sandbox area that you can go around and not really do much. Visually, well, I'm pretty sure these are all like pre-made assets and stuff, with the exception of like Sonic. You know, obviously that's made by the creator of the bumper engine and stuff, but so I can't really say much on it. It's open, it's generic, it exists, and I'm pretty sure this is just to give you an open area to run as much as you want in. And I'm legitimately curious to how far I could actually go, because I can see the very edge of the world and I want to run to it. So yeah, with that said, I hope you got something out of this video, or if you wanted to give your 2 cents, and yeah, sure, we can do that. Anyways, aside from this very soothing Green Hill Zone music, if you want to kind of sound off in the comments down below, feel free to let me know what you think about this whole topic. I feel that this is something that should be addressed, and I'm kind of kicking myself a little bit for not bringing it up earlier when the bumper engine was first released. But, you know, again, feel free to let me know, and if you like the video and you want to see more content like this, give it a thumbs up. I'll try to script these a bit more so that way I'm not having to jump cut through things. If you want to see more content I produce, join the Knux Club by clicking subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell icon to get notifications for new content, and don't forget to include all posts if you want to get every single kind of creator post that I put in the community tab. And with that said, I want to give a shout out to the members of Knux Club Plus. You'll see the names on screen right now. And if you want to support this channel in a bigger way, first off, if you want to support the channel, sharing the videos helps out, but supporting in a bigger way, you can find out how to do so with the join button below this video. There's a link in the description to the channel membership for YouTube. You can also subscribe on my Twitch channel. You can even pledge to the channel through Patreon, so patreon.com/knucklechannel. Any and all ways that you do so, no matter how much you actually support the channel beyond, you know, with that stuff, you have my biggest thanks that I can give. If you also want to support the channel and have something cool to wear, you can get the Knux Club Hot Takes tee. There will be a link in the description to Teespring for that, or it's also below the video. Thank you, YouTube, for the merch shelf. Don't forget to follow me on social media, and with that said, I hope you have a wonderful and safe day, and I'll catch you for the next Sonic fan game video, and I'll see you guys next time.
Let's take a dive in aquatic mind. Once was a cold pit, but now it's a water ride.